Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the McConaughey at YouTube with another model video. I'm going to do something a tad different and very unusual. A good friend of mine, WaveHawk, who's a Gundam modeler, contributes to some older forums, a couple of Facebook groups, no YouTube channel that I know of. Took a break from the hobby for a while and got into it. Donated all of his projects, snapped and built kits, and among that I came across this. He wished to give to me and was attempting with this black TriStar Zaku to create a MSV style Desert Zaku by applying multiple parts from multiple kits. A kit bash. So he gotten this far, and there's been an incredible amount of work applied across multiple kits, and I believe it's an absolute shame to leave it as it is. So I'm going to finish it on his behalf how it stands now, and do some further scratch building, clean it up, and go from his style to my style. So I'm not 100% sure of all the things he's done, but I want to pull it apart, see where it's glued, where it's snapped, and just loosen it up, make it colour separatable, sharpen some of the details, finish it so it looks just like the MSV line art, paint it, polish it, weather it, and all that jazz. He had multiple kits, so I was able to pull a couple of bits and pieces out of his bits box to finish it. And the work he's done is absolutely amazing. He's got this gun, and Scratch built it with an ammo bit, a drawing pin, and just multiple different type of plastics to create this gun. I could see some textured styrene by Evergreen and whatnot. There's some bits that are a little unrefined, but it was a work in progress though. His methods are a tad rough. We've got the knee pads from the original MSV 1980s kits, mounted on some styrene and put here, cleverly sanded. So there's a lot of work that's been done. Our nubs have been removed, seam lines have been filled. This one hasn't, and is missing a bit of a shield here. So what I want to do is utilize some putty and round off some areas and hide some detail so it's not as mechanical looking as a newer high grade kit. So there are a few chamfers and panel lines and whatnot that really don't have to be there. That seam is absolutely gone, though could use a follow-up. So I'll strip him down, I'll loosen up all the joints and put it back together so it can be separatable. Fatten up parts, round off some parts with sculpting putty, find a shield, attach the backpack with a magnet, put the antenna on top of its head. The head sits far too high on the shoulders, so a putty's going to have to bring it down to make the profile lower. Prime it, clean it up, and paint it. So it's not a lot of work, but there's enough work there that made it so my friend abandoned this project. So he doesn't know I'm doing this yet, though there is full consent and permission to finish him. He'll be very excited when it's done. Also, everything below here, there's a substantial amount of detail that can be blotted out, but some of it can be kept. It's just far too detailed down there, and not so detailed up here, so that could be fixed. Stay tuned, and we're going to do some picture updates of how he is going. That recorded segment was done about a year and a half ago, once pulled fresh out of that bits box. Once laid out, all the parts were pulled apart and visually inspected. It was quite hard to pry a few bits and pieces apart. Normally I would never work on someone else's kit, as I'm not too sure where they glue or break pegs, what parts they use, if they gouge plastic. Fixing the mistakes of other people is a bit rough, though. Knowing my friend's style very well, I was very willing to jump onto this boat, as well as having access to multiple parts to carry this through without buying any of the kits.
Through further inspections of the bits box, I found a few extra parts that would have been fairly useful. All the parts were covered with 2-part sculpting milliput putty to round off a few surfaces, make it not look as flat, and cover as many panel lines as pretty much possible. Later on, I also pulled out a bunch of Kodabakir modelling support parts to get the vents going in the side of the legs, and heavily sculpted with putty to bulge it out, much like the reference art. And later on, which you'll visually see, applying photo etch parts on shields and the top of the backpack. This was an experiment in trying out a new product that I came across, as well as the opportunity to film a tutorial review video. The sculpting putty was heavily sanded with quite a rough grit, and moving its way back to a polishing grit going through the 200, 300, 400 down to about 1,000, and multiple layers of squadron or liquid putty was applied to get all of those scratches, cracks, dents, and any imperfection from the sculpting putty. This started to give us a look and profile of the rounded off surfaces, as well as adding a little more putty to any scratch building WaveHawk has done, as well as covering the last of the small detail and gluing everything together. Issues with the shields and backpack not originally belonging to this kit were magnetized and separated by a few layers of 1mm styrene plate. As there was large swatches of time working on this project, remembering what I was up to was very difficult. Notes using a Gundam marker were written on parts where sanding or extra putty work would be required. Once everything was done and fleshed out, a coat of primer was applied to search for further imperfections or detailing required. Utilised putty, sanded again, and repeated the process until it was polished with fine grit sandpaper. This is where I moved on to the said Gundam marker method and got to develop and use the Mr. Hobby liquid. Or the product's high velocity, unlike any other putty, really gets into those nook and crannies, leaving a fairly silk texture behind. Dries quickly, sands away, move on it the next day. The photo etch were glued in using PVA glue, and after the final primer top coat, we've got quite a sufficient looking model. Between processes, it was stored in a sandwich bag labelled. Moving on to painting, everything was shaded with a few tones of Mr. Colour lacquer and mounted on alligator clips for ease of handling. Due to components being glued together and older parts being used, quite a bit of masking had to be done, only really using tape. WaveHawk has a fascination with Middle Eastern war theatre, particularly leftover Soviet arms used by insurgents and the US military, particularly the Marines, combating them. As a tribute to that, I decided to go for a Middle Eastern scheme and desert colour. Came across as many old decals as possible and heavily weathered or airbrushed the Xeon insignias and put on some Islamic writing that I found from a few sets I've had laying around in the old decal bin. After painting in decals, the heaviest process was weathering, which did take a few months, testing a few very subtle methods with the shaded paintwork and slowly building it up for rush streaks, edging, chipping, washes, and the whole lot. Decal work went over about 3 sessions of applying a few, so I wasn't double handling parts, still on the skewer, applying future floor or gloss clear, allowing to dry, analysing later and applying a bit more to break it up and add that little extra bit of detail, as we don't have a lot of panels or hard edges. When it built up, it was a bit too much, and that's when weathering via paint, softening up the hard lines of the markings, as well as all the different methods, softens it up and blends it back all together. First, I utilised washes by applying a range of browns, blacks and whatnot over different sessions, allowing each to dry, being enamel or oil-based, and then applying a flat clear lacquer to seal it. Being heavily utilising enamel-based weathering methods, Bandai plastic like to splits, breaks, fall apart from these chemicals. It is important to do a very thorough prime job and top coat as you apply each layer, and the maximum amount of time to dry in case it does leach into the plastic. You will not have any breakages. After that, we went to pigment, weathering, as well as MIG with the binders and a makeup pencil to get the edges, streaks, pigment with the streaks as well. All of those bits and pieces, build up a pigment on high pieces and dissolved, just step by step, a day, let it harden for a week, the next week another day. At the end, all the different builds up of different methods created this finished look. What I also don't talk enough about in my weathering process is the use of clear black, and I'd love to make a video about it at some point when the time is just right for filming and setting up a project. Areas where there are thrusters, shadowing, whatnot, it's really good to just overly thin and lightly build up in a gradient form via an airbrush. It gives a lot of definition, cast shadows, and just gives a little more that light, natural, real luster figure actually standing there in real life. It looks more so like a real machine or a bit of art than a plastic toy. And a medium I definitely enjoy blending in with pigments and paints. The photo etch, opposed to using scribing, it picked up very nice from the washes, and the final touch was adding the clear mono eye. Any parts that required gluing together post-painted was done with PVA glue, snapped it together, displayed it, and taken photos. Very happy how it came out. Very long process, over a year and a half work. And just the other week I packaged it up in a nice container, the end photo, and presented it to WaveHawk, as he's just starting to get back in the hobby. He recognised the build immediately, opposed to all the extras I've added to it, gracefully accepted it, and is currently enjoying it among his collection, as well as I've got a built painted piece of his sitting on my desk. This pretty much wraps up this project. The first time I have picked up kits that's been started by people or have done a little work, but this is the first time I've actually picked up someone's full project and carried it out in the direction that I imagined they were heading in and finishing off. So definitely happy to call this a collaborative effort instead of just slapping my name on it and completely overriding someone else's work. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. We do quite a bit on Facebook as well as other social medias. All the links down below. And yeah, I don't see myself really doing a project like this again in the future unless inspiration really hits and hits hard. It was a bit tricky, and I had to motivate myself multiple times to re-pick this up because it's just that unusual to work on someone else's project. See you later.